gentlemen, welcome to a location on this planet that has become one of my favorite places on planet Earth. I want to formally welcome you to Hiriketiya Beach here in the south of Sri Lanka. If you're thinking jungle vacation right by the beach side, this is the place for you. If you're thinking waking up in the morning and seeing monkeys and monitor lizards walking through the jungle, then this is the place for you. And if you're thinking surfing your heart out in the beautiful beaches of Hiriketiya and Dikwella, then this is the place for you. Today we're going to be talking about the amazing Hiriketiya and Dikwella beaches that are right next to each other here in the south of Sri Lanka. I'm going to give you guys an everything you need to know travel guide. As well, I want to say a massive thank you to today's sponsor. And today's sponsor is StoryBlocks. And we'll tell you more about them right after this. As well, if you are coming to Hiriketiya or Dikwella and you need some accommodation, my number one recommendation is using my Airbnb link down below in the description, which will give you guys $40 off your first Airbnb. That could be well over 3 or 4 nights for free here in this area, but we'll talk more about that a little later. So without any further ado, let's welcome you guys to Hiriketiya by rolling the intro. Alright, so Hiriketiya. This is a tiny little beachside town in the south of Sri Lanka. The actual infrastructure and roadways of this area are made up of a lot of dirt roads that tend to get flooded when it rains, and really just the short little beach strip that exists right here. Most of the accommodation and or activities are placed right on the beach or on the road right behind the beach. For all intensive purposes, if you're coming to stay here, you probably won't ever be more than a 5-minute walk from the beach, but in reality, more like a 30-second walk. So location-based, the number one place you're gonna wanna visit is Hiriketiya Beach itself. That is the beach that is directly behind me right now. It is a tiny, small little beach. It's sort of more like a bay that feeds these beautiful surfable waves. I'll mention this now, I love surfing, but I'm pretty bad at it. And I've done it quite a bit in my life in a bunch of places around the world. If you're a surfing aficionado, I think a place like this might reminisce you to a place like Waikiki Beach in Hawaii. The surf here is very, very controlled. The waves are very controlled. They come in very nice little sets. They're never really major giant waves that can scare you. Very great for beginners. And the beach tends to be kind of split up between a more beginner touristy area and then a more intensive wave area to the left. The tourists and the beginners tend to stick around where most of the accommodation touristy bits are, and then there's a side of the beach that more of the professionals hang out at. You can see the waves are generally a lot bigger in that area, but still, waves here are not massive, and it makes it for a very accepting and generally a very nice environment for most surfers. When it comes to actually renting a surfboard, they've actually implemented, from all I've understood, a 500 rupee fee for renting a surfboard for an hour across the beach. So there's like maybe 5 or 6 surfboard rental places on the beach. It'll never cost you more than 500 rupees per the hour. It's kind of agreed upon with most of the surf rental places. And you're looking somewhere about the $1,500 range to rent it for the day. So super, super cheap to rent a surfboard out here. Hello, ¿cómo de? And you'll have a range of different boards between short boards and long boards and just the beginner foam boards for, beginners. So you'll be able to find everything you pretty much need when it comes to surfboards right on the beach. Also, if you've never surfed before, rest assured that there are plenty of places across the beach willing to give you surf lessons. I think those are also differently priced depending on where you surf from. I absolutely love surfing here, and I love the people who congregate in the water here. It's actually like a little bit of a get-together in the water because there's not that many surfers. This place is still not overrun by tourists yet, and everybody seems to be a beginner or like an intermediate, so it's very relaxed and nobody's pressuring you. And the surfing community here is just very open and super fun. A lot of tourists, very, very nice, including the locals who are in the water. Heck, I was even able to catch a few waves, which was really cool. It is honestly such a good feeling when you finally catch your first wave. And hey, if you get even so confident, you might even be able to ride with a friend like I did. Catching a wave like this was one of the craziest things, and you need some confidence to do it, but it was super fun. Besides that, you can come and swim here on the beaches of Hiriketiya. Keep in mind that there will be a lot of surfers, but right on the beachfront, right on the front, you'll have tons of places to get some nice drinks and food and just hop in and out of the beach. It is a very, very nice beach to just sit and relax on and tan or swim in. and just briefly kind of swim around. So right next to Hiriketiya, about a 15-minute walk away, is Dikwella Beach. This is the larger version of Hiriketiya. It's definitely a more intense beach with larger waves. You're not really gonna find any surfboard rental places here on the beach. What you might wanna do is rent some surfboards elsewhere and then bring them to this beach if you wanna try surfing here. Dikwella is also very nice, but like I mentioned, a little more intense when it comes to the waves and the surf. It also tends to stay a little more shallow, so if you are surfing, keep in mind if you fall off your board, you might smack down right into the ground. Also, right next to Dikwella Beach is a place called the Verse Collective. This is not sponsored by them in any way. I actually haven't had a chance to stay here yet. I will one day for sure, but the team behind the Verse Collective is just amazing. Super, super fun and nice people. Verse Collective is everything you want in an area like this when it comes to surf and skate. They got an awesome restaurant and sort of bar area, serving really, really delicious food, as well as a sort of co-working space right on the beach. This place is beautifully built, and you could tell the design and the architecture that came through this place was really well thought out. They even have a half pipe in the front of this place. I highly recommend coming to this area during sunset. We've done it for the last 3 days, and it's just super fun to watch the sun going down, especially skating while the sun going down, or just grabbing a quick meal or drink as the sun goes down. Also highly recommend jumping into Dikwella and doing some body surfing. This has been actually one of the highlights of coming here to Hiriketiya and Dikwella. Just body surfing the giant waves of Dikwella have been a blast. You'll get tossed around, you'll wipe out, but it is so much fun to just feel the brute force of Mother Nature as she pushes you across the shore. Hey, look at this little guy. One of my favorite things about Sri Lanka is all the little dogs that hang around out here. And I got a little pup that just ran up to me. Hey pup, this is a little beach pup. This my little puppy. This my little beach puppy. All right, you're gonna do the rest of the travel guide? All right, here we go. Give him the rest of the travel guide, bud. Oh, this pup is just adorable. When it comes to nightlife and sort of hanging out, what I'd recommend is, because this place is so chill, just hanging out by the beach, grab a few beers, grab a few drinks, some food, hang out by the beach, relax a little bit. But if you're looking to get more intense, or if you're looking to listen to some live music, you want to go out, there are some bars lined up across the beach. There's some reggae-like relaxation type bars that'll just play some nice music. And there's also a couple spots that play some live music themselves. That usually happens on the weekend when this place fills up a little more. But yeah, I think location-wise, there's not really much else to mention. These places are really just beaches, and they're not even really big beaches. And that pretty much covers locations for this video. We'll jump into our next sub-subject, which is accommodation. But before we jump into accommodation, I want to tell you guys a little bit about today's sponsor. All right, so today's sponsor is StoryBlocks.com. Specifically, StoryBlocks Audio. So StoryBlocks has teamed up with me to show you guys their service that they have on here. If you've heard of StoryBlocks, you know that it's a fantastic place to go get royalty-free stock footage. But they actually have an audio feature that I think most people don't even know about or overlook completely. This is the place to go get royalty-free stock music, sound effects, and different loops for your videos. When you watched the intro of this video, you saw me surfing on a surfboard in the middle of the ocean. Little did you know the sounds of the waves crashing, the sploosh when I fell off the board, and the music was all provided by StoryBlocks Audio. I'll hop on to StoryBlocks Audio and simply search for what I'm looking for. So let's say I want the sound of a splash. Type in splash. And very easily, I can choose to do between music, loops, or sound effects. So in this case, I want some sound effects, and then I'll just get the water splash sound effect. Easy as that. My link will be down below in the description. Use storyblocks.com/thetravelingclat if you want to sign up. If you are a creator on YouTube, no matter if you're just starting or if you've been in the game for a long time, you will absolutely love StoryBlocks. It's a trusted website that many creators, just like myself, use all the time. So sign up at storyblocks.com/thetravelingclat in the description below. And let's get back to the video. Boom, and now we're back. Let's talk about accommodation. So my number one recommendation here when it comes to accommodation is, of course, Airbnb. And why do I recommend Airbnb? Well, it's because if you use my discount code down below in the description, you can get yourself $40 off your first Airbnb. A lot of times what the benefit of using an Airbnb is that you get to sort of stay with a local in their house. In a place like Sri Lanka, that's definitely true, and you might even be able to get recommendations or hang out with a local family or a local owner of a house while you're here. It's a step above a hostel or a hotel, and of course, when using my link, you'll be able to potentially get some nights for free here. So there's nothing better than free. So check the link in the description right now and sign up for your Airbnb account, and when you're coming to Hiriketiya, make sure that you use it. But if you're planning on going anywhere else around the world, you can actually use my link anywhere in the world, no matter where you are, so it doesn't only have to be Hiriketiya or Dikwella. Besides that, there are a few hostels around and also little hotels and homestays. I will say they are not the cheapest, especially when it comes to Sri Lankan prices, but for being pretty much on the beach at all times, or a 5-minute walk from the beach at most, you can't really look for much wiggle room when it comes to pricing. All right, let's jump into our next sub-subject of the video, which is food. So being right on the ocean, being right on the beach, of course, one of the top things to try here is the seafood. No shortage of that. One of the biggest ones I want to recommend. We are not sponsored by them in any way. I'm just giving them a shout out because it was genuinely delicious. Malu Poke. You guys know how much I love poke. I fell in love with it when I was in Hawaii. There is nothing like jumping in this beautiful ocean, swimming around in this beach or surfing, and then coming out right on the beach and being able to eat a delicious, yummy, delicious fresh little poke bowl. They have tons of options when it comes to the protein that you want, vegetables, and it's all really fresh and delicious. So I highly recommend getting some Malu Poke when you're here in Hiriketiya. Besides that, you'll find restaurants that'll offer you wood oven pizza, different pastas, little cafes, brunches. There's actually this pizza place that we've been to a few times. It's fresh wood oven pizza made right on the spot for you, and it's actually really good. Of course, I'll recommend you guys getting some fresh fruit. Mangoes are almost always in season, and coconuts all around, as well as pineapple. If you didn't know, in Sri Lanka there's actually a special coconut called king coconut, which is really delicious. You'll be able to find them all across the beaches. Get somebody to crack one open for you and drink the delicious coconut water that's inside. As well, if you don't feel like paying the sort of expensive prices that will be for the Western food or the cafes that are on the beach itself, if you walk right up to the main road, which is about maybe a 10-minute walk from the main center of Hiriketiya, you'll be able to find some more of the local restaurants where you'll be able to get meals for 100, 200 rupees, maybe even less than that. You're looking at $1 or so for some rice and curry. Get yourself some dal, some chicken curry, some rolled up rotis, some egg rolls. I want to quickly jump into our money subject and talk about how much it'll cost for you to visit Hiriketiya. So I will say, after traveling a fair bit of Sri Lanka and seeing a few places, I will say it's a little more expensive than the average place in Sri Lanka. It's still not crazily expensive because it's not super fancy. It's still pretty run down when it comes to a general area in Sri Lanka. It's still not that touristy. I mean, most of the roads are still not paved. They're mostly dirt roads. You are kind of looping in and out of the jungle most times that you're here. And there's just nothing in a sense of like 5-star hotels and giant high-rises. So it won't be crazily expensive. But accommodation will generally run you anywhere between 800 to maybe 3,000 rupees on the high end. I was able to find a few places within the 1,000 to 1,500 range, actually getting myself a nice stay at a hostel for about 1,500 for the night. So you're looking at somewhere in the range of $8, $10 per night. Once again, the accommodation here is not going to be extravagant. Getting around, you'll probably be using a tuk-tuk or just walking. Most tuk-tuks won't cost you more than 200 to 300 rupees to get from either side of the beach or to get from Hiriketiya to Dikwela. So yes, you are getting ripped off slightly because it shouldn't really cost that much, but once again, not that expensive. It's not going to cost you more than $1.50 to $2 to get across the entire beach or to the other beach from here. And like I mentioned, most of the food places right on the beach are going to start at about 1,000 rupees for whatever you're getting, whether it's a meal or just sort of a side snack. Most of the places are a little bit more expensive. That's why if you want to save a little bit of money, you can check out some of the local restaurants that are a little further away than the beach itself. All right, that'll cover the money and the cost of the things that you need to spend here when you're here. Let's talk about the transportation, getting here and getting around while you're here. What I would recommend doing is getting a van, especially if you're able to find a few people or join a van with other people in it. It'll probably be the cheapest way and the most comfortable way for you to get here. That being said, you can also get public buses from Colombo. Depending on where you are in Colombo, you might have to get 2 buses to have a connection. And of course, my biggest recommendation is renting yourself out a tuk-tuk from tuktukrental.com. You can use my link in the description for these as well and get yourself a little discount when you rent a tuk-tuk. Not really sure if there's much more to touch on here, ladies and gentlemen. I think that is your overall everything you need to know travel guide about Hiriketiya and Dikwela. I do highly recommend that you come and visit this place. It is amazing in my opinion, and one of my favorite places I think I've ever been to on my travels. Make sure to check out our sponsor down below in the description. I want to say a huge thank you to them for sponsoring today's video. One more time, I want to say thank you to StoryBlocks Audio for sponsoring this video. My link will be in the description. Please sign up with them. I think you'll absolutely love the service. As well as that Airbnb link down below in the description so you don't miss out on any free places to stay while you're here. And your Sinhalese word of the day today here in Sri Lanka is going to be koheda, which means where. So if you need to ask somebody where, if you want to just kind of toss in a local word, you can say koheda. All right, guys, that's it for me. I love you guys long time. Please come and visit this place because it's awesome. And we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, class.